Sean and Dianne always enjoyed browsing for homes on the water, but timing such a big commitment with growing kids and careers proved challenging. Luckily for them, children get older and eventually work slows. Using their retirement as a springboard, the couple truly soared upon discovering their oceanfront bungalow, a now reimagined family-first cottage where people want to be. But first, we'll visit Stephanie. When the stresses of work became too much, it was clear that Stephanie needed a break. She hit the road and headed for the coast, where the beach house she would one day call home awaited. A space overlooked by so many, this once-neglected seaside getaway is now her breezy cottage on the bay, thanks to her persistence and knack for thrifting. Water stirs the senses. The sight of a tranquil lake, the sound of an enlivened river, the smell and taste of a salty ocean breeze. Water is Mother Nature's most engaging opus. Where better to enjoy it than from a home on its edge?
I moved here a few years ago and I was having a bit of a mental breakdown from work, just very overwhelmed, and I decided to use my holiday to go RVing. And I'd never really been to Atlantic Canada before, didn't know very much about it. Then when I got here, I realized how beautiful it is. Coincidentally, it just so happens that as we were driving back, I passed through this exact town and I had screenshotted it on my phone, and I said to myself, I'd love to live here one day. And at the time, I was just RVing, I wasn't planning on moving at all. And by the time I got home, I just felt like this was it. I'd made a few offers on places in other beach towns and nothing worked out. I had 27 offers that I'd made before I found this place. This property was way out of my budget, and I saw it and it was sitting on the market when houses just weren't sitting on the market. I came with a friend and saw the view of the St. Margaret's Bay. And I hadn't even seen the house yet. I didn't know what it looked like. And I knew two things. I wanted to check that the siding was in good shape because it's expensive to re-side a house. And I wanted to check that it was far enough up from the water line that I didn't have to worry that it would be underwater like next year. I didn't even care what the house looked like. I got here and already my real estate broker was standing on the front lawn with her mouth hanging open. My friend that I was with also was like, oh my goodness, Stephanie. And then I was just like, I want it. I want it, I want it. No one else was making an offer on this house. And I went really low and we managed to meet in the middle. And I got this house as well as the house behind it for a really great price. And I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew that I could do something here and that others would find the view and the property as beautiful and hopefully enjoy it as much as I do. When I got this place, it was really different. If I showed you some pictures, you wouldn't even recognize the before and after. This house was used as kind of an occasional cottage, and it looked like it was where all the furniture in the family went to die. I started to go thrifting, and I found that I really started to have kind of a vision once I collected unique pieces. Since it's a beach house, I really wanted to go with the minimalist, beachy look. So I wanted it to be the bright and airy feeling that you feel like when you're on the beach. I just wanted to remember how I felt outside and inside in all these different properties I've stayed at. When you come into the property, you go through the classic country little storm door, and it already is just bright white and open and airy. Then to your left is the kitchen, which I kept rather rustic in a sense. I kept the old hardwood cabinets, just upgraded them with some newer handles and put in a huge, huge sink that you can wash like a car in practically. And then that just kind of modernized the space with the countertops and the handles and everything while keeping the charm of the older home. The home actually used to end at the kitchen, and then it got an extension that's off to the left. So that's where you see the dining area and just this massive, beautiful living space with the classic wood beams of a cottage that are just really emphasize the space so much. And I definitely did not want those painted. I know they tried to, and I had to stop them. And the couch is a bit of a weird orientation, but it's to enjoy more than watching the TV, to look at just the views around the whole property, because you can see water views from almost every room in the house. And you can continue down the hallway, and there's a half bath there with the same flooring as the kitchen, just to continue that over, as well as 2 bedrooms. And they're just bright white and airy. They have queen beds in them. But I think at the end of the day, the thing that everyone just loves is the view, the beach, the deck, just everything about that. It probably wouldn't have mattered that much what I did inside, but it ended up looking really good. And that's the feedback I get all the time, is how wonderful it looks inside. And having no idea what I was doing, that's just the nicest thing that you could ever tell me. When people come here, I know everyone loves a good house tour and looking around, but it's so funny because the tour starts before you even get here. The tour starts when you leave the highway and you see the bay and you drive down the driveway, and you're not even sure if there's a house down there because it's a bit rocky to get down. And then when you come out of your car, every time I look out the door, what they're doing is that they first go and they stand and look at the water's edge and take in the view, and then come in and get to feel the same light, airy breeziness inside, because even on a bad weather day, it's just such a great spot to be. Like, you can still watch the water and watch the fog roll in. It's so beautiful. Sound of rain on the roof is really beautiful, and it's just such an amazing spot all around, and I'd say that everyone seems to agree. The deck is really great, again, takes advantage of the different kind of weather. There's a part of it that's under a roof, so there's Adirondack chairs, and it's so nice to sit there and have a coffee and watch the water or read on those chairs, and even if it's raining, you can still enjoy that, which is great. If it is a sunnier, nicer day, there's the rest of the deck. There's actually 2 different levels to the deck because just needed to add more deck when there wasn't deck there. That's where we have the barbecue, and we had also a local person built the wood furniture to go outside and to extend the table beyond what was there. There's just a small seating area, and there's still room to lie out and enjoy the sun. There's even a horseshoe pit on the side of the house. We have a badminton volleyball net that we put up, so there's just a massive amount of lawn. The dogs are really happy about that. There's a clothesline, which my personal favorite smell is when you hang your sheets out to dry on the clothesline with the salty ocean air. It's just beautiful. Everything's just stunning, and it's such a good place to hang out. I named the place Coco's Cottage because I think it's just as special to her as it is to me. Sometimes when I let her roam free, and I'll just find her sitting on the deck or even on the rocks, just watching the water. Naming it Coco's Cottage was the most perfect thing because this will forever be that sweet dog's cottage. Moving 30 minutes outside of the city might sound like there's nothing to do in the area, but pretty shockingly, there's more I find than I was doing in the city. I'm definitely an outdoors person, and when I arrived here, I just felt the stress leave my body. Almost like if you did the best yoga session of your life, and I felt it every day, like living here and just working and looking out the window. And I really wanted to have the most beautiful, majestic office possible, and I definitely found it. I find the water is just generally really peaceful. I've always loved the ocean, and growing up in Montreal, it's quite far away, and I never dreamed that I could have something this perfect and get to work here. And I know that some people might get a little bit sick of working from home, and I'm lucky that I have a partner. We both work from home, we both love it, and we both feel so connected to nature and just peacefulness living out here. We love just being on the lawn and outside, and we're walking around the property, playing on the beach. We play fetch on the beach, and The younger dog, Finnegan, gets the zoomies and he takes off and he's so happy, and they're just both love chomping seaweed. It's not really that good for them, but we try to minimize it so they're having fun and we don't have to deal with a sick dog. The road that we live on is also just a beautiful road to walk down. It's just a great community. The neighbors are all so kind and everyone stops and says hello to the dogs, and there's lots of dogs that play. Sometimes there's random dogs running up on the lawn. I was lucky enough to meet an amazing partner who appreciates the house as much as I do and who loves it as much as I do. And I also adopted another dog. I rescued him from living in a cage in a basement for 12 hours a day, and the four of us here are just so happy, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. Purchasing this property was a big chunk out of my wallet, so definitely some plans down the road. First of all, to winterize it, which would involve lifting the whole home and putting it on some sort of foundation. The problem is right now, there's not enough crawl space to even insulate underneath it, so there's nothing that's workable to winterize it as it is. That's a big, expensive endeavor, but we'll save up and work towards it because it'd be beautiful to raise a family here and live here year-round. That's just something nice to think of for the future as well, and to work towards something and feel super motivated every day at work and investing accordingly to be able to afford those projects. I think that home is definitely a feeling more than a place. I'm really privileged. I got to travel a lot in my life. I've been to every continent, including Antarctica, and I've seen so many places. I've lived in so many places, and I think that it really, at the end of the day, is where you feel peaceful and you can sleep soundly at night, and that all your worries are gone. And it's something I've really struggled with in my life, to feel peace, and finding a peaceful partner was one thing, and finding a peaceful home is another thing, and I'm really wonderfully privileged that I got to find both of them here. I do not ever want to run any risk of losing this place. I hope that it gets transferred along the generations to my great grandkids.
We've always wanted to be on the water. You know, it seemed kind of crazy not to be on the water if you can.
Last year, we came down looking at properties on the water, which we do most summers. We went looking up the street at a property and we hummed and hawed about it a little bit, and we stopped here. And we saw an open house sign, and we decided to come up and look. And when we decided to kind of take the plunge, our conversation was around the fact that, you know, we are 60, we only have a certain number of years left of really good life, and we've been looking forward to something like this for a long time, and we decided just to jump in.
59, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're only 59.
That's kind of an important difference of this date. We were looking around for 15 years. We made the decision in about 15 minutes. You know, we were kind of encumbered, I guess, by kids being in school, and, you know, you don't like to pull them out of where they are. But now they're older, and we decided, okay, it's time to do it. And we're getting closer to retirement, so my wife is retired, and I'm trying to retire. So that's where we are.
The first thing that probably stood out to me personally was walking into the place, and it felt like a cottage. It didn't feel like a home. We have a home. It felt very comfortable. It felt very warm. It felt like a place where our children would want to come and this be a part of their lives. And of course, walking out onto the deck and looking at the view, it was breathtaking.
I think you're affected by what you look at every day. Not that we don't like looking at our neighbors, but, you know, it's the same thing every day. Here, you see something different every day.
This place is perfect because, honestly, why would you not want to be by the water? When we purchased the place, we could walk right in with a suitcase in hand or a bag in hand to stay the night, and we didn't have to do anything at all. Everything was supplied for us, including their fine china.
The two ladies that owned the property, they left everything pretty well. So that was good. You didn't have to furnish. You have time to make it your own. It which is including this piano. They left that. She was a music teacher, right?
Yes, she
Yeah,
was a
one of
music teacher. So certainly over the course of the year, we haven't done much. I personally have kind of looked at some of the bedroom situations and changed those up a little bit, but we certainly have some plans for the place, so that's yet to come.
First thing you see actually when you come in that hit us is the fireplace on the opposite side of where the actual fireplace is. So it's an old brick fireplace that's probably been here since the beginning of the house, and it's been painted white, so it's actually really pretty. Then you would look right and you see the kitchen. It's a small kitchen because it is not a huge home, but it's all well pointed. It's, it's got a microwave and a stove and fridge and the things that you need. And then you come past the stairs down to the bottom level, and you enter to what I would call the great room, I guess, which has the fireplace in it and has a view, the vista, I guess, of the outside, which is what this place is really all about. Bay windows from sort of the right-hand side as you look towards the water, and the two sort of master bedroom and the guest room are off to the right, as is the upstairs bathroom.
When you leave the upstairs area, there is a staircase going down to another sort of family room area. We've actually put in a shuffleboard and a games area for the kids to play. Downstairs as well, what you'll find are 2 other guest bedrooms.
We currently don't have a theme, but it is a work in progress. It'll obviously be family oriented because this is all about family. And we call this place the Dockside, which is named after my father, who's not with us anymore. He would have loved it here, yeah.
It's interesting when you drive up to this place because you assume that it's very tiny. When you drive into the driveway, it's surrounded by some beautiful trees and it's very secluded. It's very tucked away. It is a bungalow. It's not a mansion by the ocean. It's very warm. It's very inviting. So when you walk through the trees, actually, you end up on the doorstep of the house, and it really is an oasis.
One of the other things that was very attractive to us, the fact that the backyard was all fenced in, because we have a grandchild now, and the dogs. So it's great because you can let them out and they can just hang and you don't have to worry about them getting away. So that's a really nice feature. The other nice feature about the backyard is it's up on a cliff of sorts, right? It's a bit of a steep stairwell down to the dock, but that gives you a nice vantage point. It's nice to be up high like that when you're looking at the world. It's very difficult to find property on the water that has a view and a shelter so that you can have a dock. But this one fit the bill, so that's what I was looking for. The deck on this house is well positioned because it's right off of the main family room and big enough you can go out there and just chill and watch the world, right? That's what we're here to do in part. Sunsets are spectacular. It's a southerly exposure deck, so you basically get the sun pretty early in the morning, you get it all day, and you get to see the sunset. So the side deck actually is a nice respite from the sun if you need it. In fact, one of the little projects that we're going to do is we're taking pictures of the sunset at different times, because it changes where it sets on the horizon, right? And then somehow we're going to superimpose that on a panoramic view of the bay from here with the dates on when it sets. So that's kind of a cool little thing we're going to do.
It doesn't really matter if it's sunny out or if it's foggy out, if it's a hazy day, cloudy day. There's always something to see out there. The cloudier days, sometimes you can see the island out in the bay, and sometimes as the fog kind of rolls by, you can see the island actually just appear in front of you. When we came here, it was full of gardens. There were stepping stones to separate garden areas. When we said we bought the complete package, we bought the complete package. It was clear that they loved to garden, and it was nice to walk into something that was so beautiful. It's an inviting structure.
Having a space like we have here is everything. We had 5 kids. They're now all young adults, and all parents know that if you want your kids to be around you, and we do, you need to have good places for them to be. So this is really about creating a space where they want to come. Hence, a backyard that is good for our grandchild and maybe more someday, but also having all kinds of toys, having the water. So that's what it's all about for us.
We or I have always wanted to have a property where you can walk outside your back door, walk down to the water, put your toes in the sand or put your toes in the ocean or in a lake. In this case, we got the ocean, so it's spectacular. One of my favorite parts of the property is not just the dock, but there's a little beach area that's down by the dock, and that's my favorite place to go. It's my favorite place to go with the dogs, and I hunt for the sea glass down there as well, and my biggest project with it is to try to edge out the seaweed a little bit so that I can create a bigger play space, both for the animals and for our little grandson. We have 2 dogs here. Ours is Joe Louie. We call him Louie for short most of the time. And we also have Poppy, our son's dog.
They get very excited when you tell them they're going here. They love the water as well. I mean, they're both water dogs. Although Joe, the older one, he no longer really dives in and swims around. He kind of wades in bit by bit. But Poppy just jumps in as soon as she can.
Life is very busy. We've spent the last 25, 30 years just doing things for our children, and we both work full time, and we've never really stopped. And this has given us an opportunity to, when we get down here, to slow down. Things are very different than they are at home. You don't have all of the electronics that you might have at home. And so it has given us a timeout. And I love to photograph things, so I spend a lot of time on the deck with my camera. There's lots of stuff to shoot when I'm out here. There are many beautiful landscapes. When we first bought the property, I had a hard time saying we're going to the cottage. I would say we're going down to the shore or we're going to the other property. And it took a long time for me to actually get to the words, we're going to the cottage. We have a couple projects lined up for the future. Our first is to put a new deck on the back of the property. The deck that's there currently is not safe for our grandson, so we decided that would be the first thing to do. We're planning to put a full deck across the back of the house. And then underneath, we're planning to put in an outdoor kitchen area. We're going to put in an enclosed area because we are in the country, which means there are bugs. And then a hot tub over on the side to get in and look at the stars at night.
That defines the immediate plans. And then we'll put a boathouse down by the dock as well. That would be another project that'll follow.
Home is somewhere that has a warm feeling. Our children are there, our pets are there, everybody is welcome. Home is a place where you don't have to make an appointment to come. Home is a place where everybody's welcome.
For me, home is where people want to be. So we want our friends and family to want to come here.
People want to live by the water. There's a calmness to being by the ocean. You can almost hear the breeze.
Whether you're religious or not religious doesn't really matter, but it kind of makes you feel like you're closer to God because you're close to nature. Somehow, it just makes you feel like you're part of something bigger. All of that, I think, is something that is hard to experience anywhere but being on the water. I don't think we'll ever give this place up. I would see this being something that our kids will take eventually.
We've looked for a long time, and this seems like the right fit for us, and I think we're here to stay.
Whether nestled alongside a riverbank or perched high above a distressed ocean, living on the shore has its perks. But beautiful views are only the beginning. The sights, sounds, and sensations of the water are constant in their impact, improving moods, perspectives, and lives. To exist and grow on its edge is extraordinary, an experience made even sweeter when shared with the people we love.